We will now discuss the subset principle. Whenever there are two competing grammars generating languages of which one is a proper subset of the other, the learning strategy that a child will use is to select the less inclusive one. By inclusive one, we mean the language in which words or phrases are free of any prejudiced or discriminatory views of a particular group of people. According to Berwick, the subset principle states that learners are conservative. That means that the learners will choose the options which will allow basically the smallest number of grammatical sentences. Berwick believes that children begin to search through languages by beginning with the smallest subset available, that is, the very restrictive language. If they do not find any evidence from their linguistic input that it is their native language, they would proceed to the next largest subset available till they find a match. So now we will see how the subset principle throws light on the complete processes. English is a very strict word ordered language, and Russian allows a small subset of admissible order, and Aborigine language Walpurgis allows an almost total scrambling of word order within a clause. Now you see that there is different parameters that are there in terms of English. Then we have Aborigine and also Walpurgis, which allows an almost total scrambling of words order within a clause. Now, basically, when we look at this, it says that it's a way to think about how these parameter settings may be made in through what Berwick and his colleagues call the subset principle. Now, first think about the languages as subsets of one another. Consider word order, and here you have a description in terms of the word order where English is very strict word order. Russian basically allows a small set of admissible word, and the Aborigine language Walpurgis allows an almost total scrambling of word order within a clause. The idea of a subset is that from earlier time that Russian could be considered a subset of Walpurgis with somewhat more restricted word order. In the same way, with respect to word order, English may be considered as a subset of Russian. Now the question is how children determine which system applies to their native language. Children must induce this system from the evidence presented to them. However, there are great many possibilities and thus an apparent need to constrain the induction process in some way. Pinker argues that at the grammatical level, these constraints are provided by the language itself. Now, this principle allows for some testable developmental prediction. If fixed word order is the default value, then children all over the world should begin their linguistic careers by producing utterances that adhere to strict word order. Now, another possibility is that linguistic features not attributable to English could be derived from the original native languages of the parents. For example, children whose parents were Portuguese might incorporate some Portuguese element into their Creoles. Again, the evidence provided by Bickerton suggests otherwise. He found that Hawaiian Creole was strikingly similar to Creoles created by children in every or very different parts of the world. The language by program hypothesis has been further supported in terms of this. Now, looking at this, we conclude that if instead children use free word order as the default value, then overgeneration would occur in English. Thus, children learning fixed word order language generally stick to the order used by their parents. Children learning free word order languages appear to use only some of the permissible orders of their languages, at least in certain circumstances.